Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today we're doing a budget with me for the paycheck that I will be receiving on December 17th, 2022 using the printable version of the Budget by Paycheck Workbook from the Budget Mom. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. So I wanted to start this budget with me in the February monthly view in the printable version of the Budget by Paycheck Workbook. We are about halfway through the month, a little over halfway through the month when I'm getting paid on the 17th. I'm actually filming this on Tuesday the 15th. As you can see, it's been a pretty mellow month so far with regards to my bills and savings. I basically contributed to all my savings challenges on the day I got paid on the 3rd, and I'm going to be doing the same for the rest of the month when I get paid on the 17th. I'll be pulling some out of my paycheck for the 2022 savings challenges from the Budget Mom, and I'll be pulling some other stuff out of my cash envelopes. I do have several bills that will be due with this paycheck, so that's something that will also be factoring in as well. I did have a goal here at the bottom. It might be a little hard to see, but basically my goal for the month was to save $2,500 towards my house savings, and I will get into a little bit towards the end of the video how I'm doing on that goal. Moving forward to the paycheck budget tracker, I'm going to zoom you all in so that you have a clear look at this budget. So again, my paycheck is for February 17th, 2022. As I did with my last budget with me, I am going to be estimating my income to be $3,030. I do think that's a pretty good estimate for my income. As you can see in my bill section, there's definitely quite a bit going on. I'm paying several bills with this paycheck, but there's also some other stuff that I already know is going to be coming up. So I've kind of added in here, even though some of it isn't actually budgeted. So of course I'm going to be paying for my Netflix, my Optimum, my Verizon, my church contribution. I would normally be contributing toward my student loan, but it's on hold right now. I actually didn't even include it in my budget because I didn't want to confuse myself. I will be also paying my rent. There are the 2022 savings challenge that I need to pull for my paycheck, so I'll be doing that. But there is this donation for $100 and this Chase bill for $156 that are not factored into my budget but are listed in the actual column. And the reason I did that is because I just want to have an idea of what I kind of didn't budget for when I put this budget together, but I know is going to need to be paid. That way it'll help me to figure out what I'm going to put towards my house savings, which is down here, and we'll get there. One thing I will also say is that my Optimum and my Verizon have gone down. So for my Optimum, the price was getting out of control, and I think I mentioned in my last budget with me, or maybe even in my January recap, that I had called them and kind of asked why it kept going up when I wasn't getting any more for my money, and they basically said I had a credit or a discount on my account that was bringing the price down, and that discount ended at the end of 2021, and they were able to apply a new discount to my bill. And so my bill is actually going to be more so around $210. I'm sorry, I keep shaking this. But it's going to be more so around $205, $210 a month. But because they couldn't discount my January bill, they took extra off my February bill. So I think that's why it's only $150, $204, which is, I mean, almost $100 less than what I was estimating it to be. Also, my Verizon, I do have a cell phone that I was paying for through my phone bill, and I did pay that cell phone off. It's actually the phone I use to film these videos. I think I mentioned probably back in like November, December that my camera just wasn't really doing it anymore. It was I was having a lot of issues and I was losing footage. So I ended up having to switch over to using my cell phone, and I actually feel like the quality of the videos is the same. So And it's a whole lot easier to use my cell phone, so I intend on continuing to do that, unless you all think that the quality is just not good enough, and then I could certainly try to put some money towards investing in a new camera, but that's definitely not a priority for me. And so I'm really happy that my cell phone bill has gone down. That's great. It's about $120.77, and it should continue to be that moving forward. So I do have those things in mind, that in my budgeted column, those are a little bit higher than what's actually going to need to be paid. In my budgeted column, what I actually budgeted with this paycheck, my bills come to a total of $1,063. And if I subtract that from the $3,030 I estimated my income to be, we are left with $1,967. And that is what I'm going to bring down to the envelope section, or the variable expense section of the paycheck budget tracker. These categories do not change from paycheck to paycheck, and their amounts don't really change either. So I am going to be budgeting $200 for groceries, $75 for eating out, $75 for gas, and $150 for miscellaneous. All of that added together does equal to $500, and if I subtract that from the $1,967 I have left over after my bills, I am left with $1,467, which is what I will be bringing up to the sinking fund section of the paycheck budget tracker. Just like with my variable expenses, my sinking funds really don't change much. So these sinking funds categories should all look familiar, and the totals have not changed either. So I will be putting $50 towards travel, $25 towards Christmas, $15 towards subscriptions, $20 towards medical, $50 towards car maintenance, $70 towards car insurance and taxes, $20 towards birthdays, $20 towards holidays, and $80 towards my licenses, which is for my RN and APRN licenses that I have to pay in my birthday month, which is next month, March. I'm actually going to be fully funded in this licenses cash envelope with this paycheck, so you won't see that again beyond the cash stuffing that I'll be posting in a couple days. I will also have met my goal in my birthdays and holidays envelope with this paycheck, which is really exciting. So you'll see me stuffing those for the final time again in that cash envelope stuffing that I'll post in a couple of days. Because I will have reached my goals in these two categories, my birthday and my holidays category, those $40 I'm still going to put towards my sinking funds every paycheck, almost like I'm doing like a sinking fund snowball versus like a debt snowball. So I'm still going to allot that money towards my sinking funds, but because these two envelopes are fully funded, I can use them towards a different category. And I did figure out for myself like a few weeks back, kind of strategically how I want to do that. And I think the next one the one that I'm going to contribute it to would be subscriptions first, because I'm almost fully funded in that. And then I think I was going to move forward to medical, and then car taxes and insurance, and then Christmas. I think that's what I was going to do. But you know, that could certainly change. So with this paycheck, I'm putting $350 towards my sinking funds, and if I subtract that from the $1,467 I was left with after paying my bills and contributing to my variable expenses, we are left with $1,117. Now, I don't have anything in my extra debt category, and that's because the only debt that I currently have is my student loan debt, and I'm not paying on it right now. So this box is empty, and everything we have left over after my sinking funds is going to go down to my house savings, which is my number one savings goal. Now, with that being said, this number $1,117 is not exactly accurate, and it's not accurate because it doesn't take into account that my Optimum and Verizon bills are a little less, but that I also have to put money aside for a donation and for this Chase bill. Now, this Chase bill is because I went a little crazy buying books. I have gotten the book bug again, and I've actually read like 3 or 4 books in the last 2 weeks. I'm really enjoying reading, and I just kind of went crazy at Barnes & Noble and bought a ton of books, and I decided that if I was going to spend that amount of money, why not put it on my credit card where I can get cash back? So that's what I did, and I think this is after cash back. It might be before though. and that's something I'm gonna have to check in on. That might actually not be totally accurate. But anyways, that's what that bill is for. It's that I put that purchase for a bunch of books on a credit card so that I could get a reward. The donation. So I did mention in my, I think it was my like budget book overview, or it could have even been where I went through like some of my goals for 2022, that I did want to make giving more of a priority this year. And so I've decided that every single month what I'm going to do is I'm going to donate $100 to a charity. That'll be on top of the $20 that I contribute every month to my church. And so every month, the charity that I will contribute to is going to change, and I want it to be something that's kind of interactive between all of us. So what I did in January is I posted something on the community tab with a list of different charities and a poll that you all were able to vote on. And I also posted the same exact thing over on my Instagram stories. And so after 24 hours, I calculated up the votes between here on YouTube and on my Instagram, and whichever charity had the most votes was where my donation went towards. I am going to be switching up the charities every single month, and I want those charities to have some type of significance to that month, or to have some type of significance to something that's important to me. And in February, I'm going to be contributing to a charity that's working towards racial justice and working towards amplifying Black voices. It is Black History Month, and I do feel like that's an important thing for us to be recognizing. And so the charities will be focused on those initiatives. When you see this video and you watch this video, that poll should be over on my community page. Again, I only do it for the first 24 hours. So if it's within 24 hours of this video posting, definitely head over there and vote for what charity you would like my donation to go towards. And you can also do the same thing on my Instagram. So the amount that I'm contributing to my savings per this budget is not exactly accurate. I do kind of have to go through and factor everything out based on this actual column. And then that'll more so determine what I'm going to be contributing to my house savings. Now, the reason why oh, actually, you know what? Before I go into that, let's look over on my cash envelope breakdown. It's very much like it always is. Basically, for my variable expense cash envelopes, which are listed here, I do the largest denominations possible, but also factor into my miscellaneous envelope that I am going to be pulling for some of the 2022 savings challenges. And actually, now that I'm looking at this, I think I figured this out incorrectly. I think I need, no, that's a lie. I should be okay, because the challenge that I need singles for is down here. So this might actually be right. But I do try to do largest denominations possible, and that's always what I do for my sinking funds. I did have a comment, I think it was in my last budget with me, about my groceries, and somebody mentioning that I forgot to add my groceries to my cash envelope breakdown, and that's actually intentional. So the reason why I don't include my groceries here and I don't pull out my grocery money in cash is because I do my groceries online, and so I need to be able to pay for them online. So for me, it doesn't really make any sense to pull out that $200 knowing that I'm just going to have to put it back in my bank account. So I leave it in a separate checking account. It's on my bank, on my online, on like my online page, it's listed as my variable expense bank account, checking account. And when I get paid, I transfer $200 right into that account. And when I purchase groceries online for pickup, I use that account to pay for them. So that's why that's not listed here. So with all of this, I will be going to the bank and pulling out $1,273 when I get paid on the 17th. And that's what I'll be stuffing in my cash envelopes for my cash envelope stuffing that we'll be posting in a few days. Now, I was kind of starting to mention that I'm not so stressed or concerned about how much I'm contributing to my house savings with this paycheck. Normally, I would be a little bit stressed out thinking about all these bills and the fact that I hadn't really factored in the donation, or I kind of spent a bunch of money on some books, and oh gosh, am I going to meet my savings goal, and am I going to be putting enough towards my savings? And the reason why I'm not so stressed out about that is because I actually got a little bit of extra income with my last paycheck. I had to kind of write something up, and when I create that type of document, I am compensated for it. And so my paycheck, or I should say, so I received extra pay in this past pay period, and that extra pay means that I was actually able to contribute almost $2,500 towards my house savings with my last paycheck. So this is the goals tracker that I've been using. This is a freebie on the Budget Moms free resource library, and it's basically meant to create 3 goals a month, and you can color in the flowers to indicate how you are doing with each of your goals. I have repurposed it, and what I've done instead is I'm using it as a savings tracker, and so this is basically a quarterly tracker for me, and it's indicating each month how much I put towards my house savings. So for the month of January, I had a goal of putting $3,000 towards my house savings, and I did reach that goal. I know this flower is only half filled in, but that's because there's actually 31 flowers here. So I did save a little bit more than my goal. For February, I basically had a goal of saving $2,500, and with my first paycheck, I saved $2,450. So I only have a half of a flower left to fill in to reach this goal for the month of February, which is why I'm not super stressed out about not being able to put as much as I normally would towards my house savings with the paycheck I'm receiving on the 17th. As long as I put $50 in, I will be reaching my goal. Now, of course, I want to be saving as much as possible, and so I think I should be able to put in at least $800 towards my house savings, but again, I am super close to reaching my goal because I did have some extra income in my last paycheck, and that went 100% towards my savings. So that is my budget with me for the paycheck that I'm receiving on the 17th. I hope this budget with me wasn't too confusing, given that I've got a lot going on in this bills section. Certainly, if you have any questions or comments about how I kind of came up with this budget, or how things are going to end up coming out once I'm in the actual column, do not hesitate to put those questions down below. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.